Hi, my name is Chanel Gerard, and today I will be talking about the culture-bound syndrome, voodoo death, and giving an overall analysis of that. Just to preface, voodoo death goes under multiple terms. It can be known as hex, root work, and there's a couple others that I just can't think of off the top of my head, but I will be mostly using the term voodoo death to describe what is happening to these patients. So the origins of voodoo death originate from multiple different regions, South America, Australia, New Zealand, and Africa. Each region has their own little origin to how voodoo death emerged. However, most of those origins will begin with the belief in spirits and using these spirits to do magic and either do both good and harm. From then on, voodoo death itself emerged as a curse. Witch doctors or magic men, the people that use these magic, like use this sorcery, would use these spirits to condemn those who have done wrong to them or others. Those who have been cursed with voodoo death will typically accept their fate and lay in bed until death takes them away. Luckily, that's not the case anymore. Most people who believe that they have been cursed with voodoo death will go and seek help now and seek treatment. However, back then, that was not the case at all. When it comes to the clinical picture, it typically begins when someone believes or knows that they have been cursed. From then on, this feeling of hopelessness, characteristics of a depressive episode, and if symptoms aren't treated, it can soon become a voodoo death. So there are two different terms, I guess. There's the prelude to voodoo death, which is voodoo illness, which is everything that comes before the symptoms, what happens, and voodoo death is when the patient really just passes away from this. Some symptoms of voodoo illness are vomiting, food not tasting right, seeing things, and bowel stoppage. Bowel stoppage can be explained because some people who believe that they have been cursed will just simply stop eating and drinking and taking care of their basic needs, which can result in organs shutting down. Which goes into how Western medicine views voodoo death. First of all, they are very skeptical about supernatural spirits causing this illness and such. And because of that, they've examined and they study people who believe that they have this, and they tend to notice the parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system will come into play, both aspects of it, because of the stimulus of just feeling like they're gonna die, you know? And along with that, as you mentioned, organs can shut down if the patients are taking care of their basic needs. Western medicine will also view these individuals as psychotic or somatic, and that is just how they typically view it. To give a bigger picture and compare and contrast how Western medicine and the DSM views voodoo illness compared to the clinical picture, the treatments are different. In the clinical picture, treatment will typically involve another sorcerer undoing the curse or just something of the sorts, whilst treatment through medication and hospitalization is the other route for the DSM. They also believe no evil spirits are involved and rely on science to explain this phenomenon. Meanwhile, the clinical picture will believe more in magic, and their symptoms are not as harsh as Western medicine. Their symptoms are more in the head, like not seeing things right and that kind of stuff, and they don't notice these organs or the nervous system coming into play, the more biological parts of voodoo illness. When it comes to theoretical underpinnings, you can typically view this in both biological and sociocultural models of abnormality. In the biological realm, you typically want to examine what is happening to the body because organs can shut down just from this amount of stress coming through. And on top of that, the treatment that is typically used to solve voodoo illness is medication. So that biological aspect is very important, along with the sociocultural, because that will give practitioners the chance to understand what is going on with their patients and how to treat it without being offensive or just being inconsiderate of what is happening, you know? They don't hear someone come into their office and go, "I have voodoo death," and, laugh them and send them on out. Like, you want to understand what they mean by that and go on from there. Finally, when it comes to treatment methods, we can use medications such as antipsychotics to help treat this. We can do hospitalization as well, which is not listed on here, just to make sure none of those organs shut down or anything like that, as mentioned prior. We can undo the curse by having another user of magic apply a reversal curse or just undoing it. And finally, we can use therapy, specifically psychotherapy, to help treat this culture-bound syndrome. And finally, from there, these are my sources that I used, and I really hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you!